Hello, it's been a while. My life has changed so much in the past year, as I'm sure all of yours have too. Nowadays, I find myself outdoors a lot, swimming, climbing, hiking. And when I'm outdoors, I think a lot about the sun, this immense giver of life and light. I think about every plant that reaches towards it, the cells in our body regulated by its rays, the birds that rejoice when it peeks its head over the horizon. And when I love something, I want to make art about it. This time I thought, why not go a step further and collaborate with it? So I did a little bit of research and found this thing called the cyanotype, which is basically an old technique that uses iron salts and their reaction with the sunlight to create these really beautiful Prussian blue photographs. And I thought it would be the perfect method to make art with the sun. My side of the collab would be to create an idea and the composition, and then the sun will help me put it on paper. If you've never heard of cyanotypes and have never seen them be done before, don't worry, this was my first time too. So yeah, let's try it out and see how it works. I'm using a cyanotype kit that I bought on the internet, which is basically just 2 bottles of solution that you mix together to create the medium. And instead of trying to make a freaking masterpiece off the bat, I thought it would be better to do some experimental pieces and figure out this new process. So here you're watching me paint the mixed solution onto a couple sheets of watercolor paper. And the usual is just to do a big wash, but I thought it'd be fun to do some shapes and make the solution its own kind of artwork. I didn't really know how thick or thin the wash had to be, but found out that a little bit of solution goes a long way. So if you decide to make prints of your own, just mix like half a capful at a time. While I was painting, I got a little bit curious about how it would react if diluted with water, and how mixing the solution with watercolor paint would affect the prints too. So I made this experiment sheet with different colors and opacities to test it out. Another important thing to note is that you have to do this whole process in low light because the solution will react to any amount of sunlight. It's probably better to do it at nighttime, but I just did it with my blinds closed and it was pretty fine. So these are all the sheets that I've painted so far, and this is my experimental sheet. I'm scared that even like this much sunlight is already affecting them, so yeah, gonna try to keep them out of the light until I want to put them in the sun. I'm pretty excited to see how this sheet turns out in particular, but I'm gonna try to find some little bits and pieces around my house to print. Probably use some of these dried flowers, and we'll see how it turns out. Welcome to my little corner. I have my little marsh stomp here. I'm gonna introduce you to some plants. I don't know why my voice is like this. This is my favorite Pokemon, by the way. I'm your favorite Pokemon? Yeah, you are. Alright, so I've collected a bunch of flowers and a couple of little knickknacks. I've also printed these photo negatives. They didn't turn out that well. I'm gonna have to adjust my printer settings because there's all these lines, but I think I'm ready to print. Typically what I've seen people do is lay their composition out onto a frame and then press it with glass and then take it outside. And in that way you can like preserve your carefully placed composition. But my flowers are very dry and crumbly and all my objects are quite bulky. So what I'm gonna do is just like put things out on the fly outside and hope for the best. Let's go outside! Welcome to a corner of my backyard. Yeah, I'm pretty sure literally all my neighbors can hear me filming this video, and it is minutely embarrassing, so this is all I'm gonna say. I've got all my stuff out. Get into the voiceover. I'm shy. Hello, I've been summoned. So here you're seeing me prepare a bucket of water to wash the prints in. That stops them from exposing any further and essentially locks your print in. Later I found out that it's better to do it indoors, but I guess we live and we learn. Oh, that's pretty fast. Basically, I have the sheets sandwiched between two of my vinyls just to keep them out of the light, and I'm bringing them out one by one to expose them with my flowers and my little things on top. Oh my gosh, so quick. Underexposed this one. Oh, it's so cool. Okay, so this is how my first experiments turned out. I'm really impressed with how cool these are. I did severely underexpose these two sheets, and I am going to try the experiment page again, probably off camera. But they look super cool. I'm really in awe of how this process works. It feels almost magical. So some of the things that I've learned are that the borders of the acetate come out. So if I want to do photos, I'll have to cut them pretty close to the photo, unless I want this acetate border effect. And yeah, I understand the reason why most people do botanical prints, because these are so cool and just so pretty. I don't know, there's something about it. A lot learned from my first experiments. That was so fun. I'm gonna do another round. Oh, this one turned out so pretty. I really like this one. I think this is kind of what surprised me the most. I expected the 3-minute one to turn out the best, but actually the 10-minute one is really lovely and not overexposed at all. In fact, it makes the 1-minute one look super underexposed. I'm really amazed at how this one turned out actually. So the normal one is just normal. And then the thing that the watercolor does is it leaves the background still the color of the watercolor. And yeah, I think that's something really cool that I could play around with and create some cool effects with. I think these kinds of vibes are what I'm looking for, what I'm going for, and I'll try to incorporate all the things that I've learned so far in my final piece. Good morning. Actually, it's afternoon because I slept in a little bit and then watched TikTok for 2 hours. Good morning. I woke up this morning and I looked at my bathtub full of cyanotype prints, and I was like, holy moly, they are quite cute and they are quite cool. I definitely underexposed 90% of them, but pretty excited to see how these things come out. But yeah, today we're going to finish off the print that I want to do, and the idea is to combine like my own illustrations and photos and the plants that I have from my friends and my family to create like an ode to nature and the sun and the light that it shines through all of our lives. So yeah, that's the plan. You know when you get a bit scared to execute something that you're excited about? That's how I'm feeling right now. But we're just gonna get right into it. Right into it. To be sincere with y'all, 2023 was pretty rough for me, and it's the reason why I had such a big hiatus from YouTube. I fell into what I would say was like the worst depression of my life, and I don't really remember much of what I got up to. I think I'm naturally a very hopeful and optimistic person, but during this period I felt such a huge sense of hopelessness and couldn't really shake the feeling that something was like fundamentally wrong with me. It was a little bit problematic as an artist who makes work out of a deep sense of hope and joy. I don't really know how to create when I'm sad, and I seriously thought it would lead to the end of my career. But as it's shown to me time and time again, life is super unpredictable, and around mid-year things really started to turn around. I started to go to therapy, slowly got back into my hobbies, and reached out to my friends again. And during this time, I met one of my now closest friends, Kat, who I couldn't be more grateful for. Then around September, I met someone who would shift the trajectory of my life in a huge way. He was a climber and had an optimism and joy about life that reminded me about my own. Through the few months that I got to know him, I felt like I had, in a strange way, come back to myself. He saw a lot of light in me that I thought I'd lost, especially in regards to my art. So I started to love creating again. He's not really in my life anymore, but he left in me a true love for the outdoors, which I think changed my life forever. For my final artwork, I wanted to piece together some joyous memories I have outside with the sun and create a collage of its light in my life. From the birds that sing their happy songs whenever the sun rises above the horizon, as each new day arrives with a new spirit, to the lizards that are always basking in the sun alongside us, their goofy little scuttles making me laugh, to the mountains that light up with majesty and transform throughout the day as the sun paints them differently from each angle, to the ocean, a whole different world that flitters and illuminates the sun's rays and never fails to bring me both a sense of wonder and a deep feeling of peace. All of these things remind me of how wonderful this life can be, and I hope this piece reminds you of the light in your life too. That was a lot of me being very sincere, so I'll leave you alone and let you watch the rest of this piece come to life. Okay, this is the extent of how much digital work I'm gonna do, because I do still want it to be like whimsical and still a collaboration with the sun. So I don't want to control it too much. But yeah, I just drew a couple of birds and the little fishy and a lizard, and played around with the type a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is transfer all of these to my computer and gather photos for all these pieces and try to print them in the right size. And then I'll get into actually making the cyanotype. So yeah, it'll make sense when you see me do everything.
Swing high, swing low, wherever you're going, wherever you go. I think I'm falling.
That is not the middle.
Just like a stone. Yeah, I did right when I saw you for the first time. Felt the lower quest spinning round. Time froze, didn't make it shine. Like the universe split right in two. Neither looked at me, and I looked at you. A hurricane picked me off the ground. Tried to say, wouldn't leave my mouth. Heard the truth, clear and loud, just ringing out. And I did, and I saw you for the first time. First time.
Okay, moment of truth. Moment of truth. Oh gosh, this bucket isn't even big enough. I'm trying my best. That's sick. I feel like I'm like never gonna get tired of this process. How sick is that? That is so cool. The lizard didn't really come out as bright as I expected, but still super cool. Alright, I'm gonna scan this, do a little bit of cheeky editing, some cheeky G-soupy magic, and I'll be back with the end result. Hee So this is how the final piece turned out. I'm really proud of it. I'm really happy with how it came out, and I'll put it on screen somewhere here or here so you can get a better look at it. I think it's quite different from the usual type of work that I do, but I think it encapsulates all the changes that I've been going through in my own life and all the new things that I appreciate. And I think it turned out exactly how I wanted it to. It's an ode to the sun and all the beautiful things that it allows me to enjoy. So yeah, I hope you like it too. And if you resonate with it in any way, it's my Patreon print for April. So you can get it on my Patreon just for this month, and I'll leave the link for that in the description. So yeah, check it out if you want one. I'll send them to you in the mail in May. Finally, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone who waited for me on YouTube. It's a little bit scary being back, but so many of you guys came up to me at cons and at markets and comment on my posts and tell me that you miss me, and I miss you too. So I'm here and I'm on a new account. I'll talk about why I made a new account in a future vlog, but I really hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe and leave me a nice comment. That would be so encouraging for me. Yeah, I'm happy to be back. I hope you like this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, go outside!